I'm Dr. Henri Colt, and this presentation is part of Bronchoscopy Academy, an ongoing competency-based curriculum in flexible bronchoscopy. The goal of this work is to improve procedural understanding, anatomical recognition, and clinical judgment while helping reduce patient suffering associated with unequal expertise and inconsistent training. In this lecture, we will review the fundamentals of bronchial brushing, including indications, equipment, technique, diagnostic yield, complications, and the principles that influence both procedural success and patient safety. Training is essential because bronchial brushing appears deceptively simple. A brush is advanced, cells are collected, samples are processed. Yet beneath these mechanical actions lies a complex interaction among anatomy, pathology, judgment, patient comfort, specimen adequacy, and procedural risk. Good training seeks several goals simultaneously: obtaining good diagnostic material, avoiding patient discomfort, preventing bleeding, and protecting the equipment. We also must reduce complications, and most importantly, we must learn to balance procedural ambitions with procedural restraint. Competence often emerges through attention to details that initially seem small. This lecture focuses not only on brushing technique itself, but also on strategy, planning, execution, interpretation, and response to complications. Experienced bronchoscopists recognize that outcomes depend as much on preparation as on technical performance. Before introducing any instrument into the airway, one should already have considered, why are we performing this procedure? What abnormalities are being targeted? What information is needed? What complications are possible? Indeed, procedural thinking begins before action. Bronchial brushing has multiple indications: visible mucosal abnormalities, airway nodules, masses, pulmonary infiltrates, peripheral nodular lesions, occasionally even apparently normal mucosa in diseases such as sarcoidosis. Brushing may also contribute to the diagnosis of subtle epithelial abnormalities, including dysplasia or carcinoma in situ. This illustrates an important principle: the absence of obvious disease does not necessarily imply absence of pathology. Bronchoscopy, therefore, often involves sampling uncertainty. The equipment itself varies according to purpose. Standard cytology brushes, larger brushes, protected specimen brushes designed to reduce contamination. The choice of instrument reflects procedural goals. Diagnosis of infection may require different considerations than diagnosis of malignancy. Eventually, the bronchoscopist learns that instruments are not interchangeable. Technique matters. The brush is advanced into the target segment, then extended, then moved repeatedly through the area of interest, sometimes under direct visualization, sometimes under computed tomography or fluoroscopic guidance. Today, robotics are used increasingly. Rotation may involve sampling. Long axis motion increases cellular acquisition. The brush should contact the lesion broadly and deliberately. The movement appears simple, yet behind simplicity lies judgment. How vigorously to brush? How long to continue? When has enough material been obtained? These decisions can influence diagnostic yield. Although brushing may seem simple, no procedure is free of risk, and even brushing can induce bleeding, pneumothorax, or peripheral lung injury. These complications are especially important in thrombocytopenic patients. Older studies remind us that bleeding risk increases substantially as platelet counts decline. Severe thrombocytopenia may transform an apparently routine procedure into a high-risk intervention. This raises another important lesson. Technical competence alone does not define procedural wisdom. Knowing when not to proceed also reflects expertise. Specimen acquisition represents only part of the diagnostic process. Specimen processing matters equally. A perfectly obtained sample may become diagnostically useless if it's handled incorrectly. Communication with cytology and microbiology laboratories, therefore, becomes part of the procedural competence journey. The airway sample enters a larger diagnostic system involving technicians, laboratory staff, cytopathologists, and clinicians. Bronchoscopy depends upon collaboration. Often, the bronchoscopist is a team leader. The literature reviewed in these old slides demonstrates variability in diagnostic yield. Newer studies have confirmed older findings. For visible central lesions, brushings may produce remarkably high yields. Peripheral lesions can remain more challenging, and combined approaches generally outperform individual sampling techniques alone. This reinforces an enduring procedural principle. Multiple complementary techniques often improve diagnosis. Combined information creates stronger conclusions. Medicine frequently advances through integration rather than reliance on a single answer. Comparisons among biopsy, washing, brushing, and needle aspiration reveal something again broader than statistics. They reveal the iterative nature of diagnosis. No single technique is perfect. Sensitivities vary. Yields may change according to lesion location and pathology. The bronchoscopist must develop flexibility and a willingness to combine approaches when uncertainty remains. This final educational slide returns perhaps humorously to what might be called a philosophy of bronchoscopy. Stay in the midline, moderation in everything, slow down to finish faster. Force is wrong. Treasure peace, harmony, and kindness, and pass this along to your patients. At first glance, these may seem unrelated to bronchial brushings, but perhaps they are not, because procedural excellence often depends less upon aggression than upon awareness, less upon speed than upon deliberate movement, less upon force than on understanding. Bronchoscopy Academy is part of an ongoing competency-based approach to bronchoscopy education. Our goal is to reduce patient suffering caused by unequal procedural expertise, inconsistent training, and preventable error. Additional educational resources, reflective essays, and narrated lectures are available at bronchoscopy.org and henricolt.substack.com.